What is up, guys? I survived the hurricane. My house is still here. Everything's good. It's just some flooding. Sorry we didn't get to a Thursday night show. We recorded some stuff, but I could not upload it. All the cell towers were messed up and no Wi-Fi, no power, any of that stuff. But anyways, we are back. It's Sunday Night Football. This is the Edge DFS. My name's Tyson Smith, joined by Ellie Hernandez. Ellie, what's going on, man? How are you doing? What's up with you?
Doing pretty good. Hope everyone's cool with the change of scenery here. I'm going live from my bedroom as opposed to my office. Got some family in town, so if you hear any background noise, too, people, just let me know so I can yell at my family. I'm just
All right. Well, look, let's just jump right into this. We're not going to talk about Thursday night. We're not going to talk about really anything else. Let's just get right into this particular matchup. I want to spend most of this show building because I think it's going to be really difficult. So we're going to talk about a lot of the we're going to talk about a lot of the key players and things like that, obviously, but I think it's going to be more about general strategy and roster construction and things like that, as opposed to this guy's good, this guy's not good. We know who's good and who's not good in this particular matchup. It's about fitting these guys in and make sure our correlations work and all that. So KC traveling to Tampa Bay. Hurricane didn't really hit Tampa Bay much. I was kind of worried about that if there'd be any damage. I went a little further south. Fort Myers got absolutely annihilated. The funny thing is the people in Tampa Bay were under and Sarasota area were in mandatory evacuation, and they guess where they went? They went south, and they still ended up getting hit bad. So I'm bringing that up only because there shouldn't be any field issues. There shouldn't be anything like that. The weather's clear right now. It's sunny out. It's 80 degrees. It's going to be perfect weather. So at this point, it's a pick'em. It's -1 Tampa Bay at home. It's a 46 total. It's a little bit lower of a total than I would expect this game to be. Why do you think that is, Ellie?
Yeah, I think it has to do with a little bit of the weather implications. I don't think we really know what was going to happen. So that's probably what that has to do with. And then again, Tampa Bay, there's just so much uncertainty around their wide receiver core. And we saw what happened with Green Bay last week. That was a pretty low scoring game considering. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It seems a bit low. I definitely think this could actually hit the over.
Well, the good news is Tampa Bay is getting a lot of their big guys back. Let's look at injuries here. So, notably, Chris Godwin with the hamstring injury should be back. These guys that are questionable, it looks like they're expected to play. So, guys like Julio Jones, Russell Gage, they should be back. Now, Rashad Perriman, he's doubtful. Looks like he's not going to play. I don't have a problem with that from a fantasy perspective because it's just going to those third, fourth, fifth string wide receivers. That whole thing isn't going to be as muddy. I think that helps out Russell Gage a little bit more, but there's really nothing really to mention with Rashad Perriman being out. Not a huge deal. So how do we handle this, Ellie? We've got three guys that we all want to get involved. Especially a guy like Chris Godwin. We're talking about, Chris Godwin, if he's healthy, in my opinion, he's the number one target overall for Brady. And then you have, Mike Evans, who's a big touchdown dependent type guy. So how do we handle this Chris Godwin news, man? Like, with a hamstring injury, we saw it happen week 1. Are you worried about playing him and getting re-injured again and having to deal with the same shit we've been dealing with him?
Yeah, a little bit here. I'm concerned about all these guys, right? They've been questionable since the beginning of the season. Russell Gage hasn't really been known for his injury history, so this is new this season. But Julio and Godwin, those guys have always been hurt, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a knock on them. They're elite wide receivers and they take hits, so I get it. But yeah, it scares me a little bit. Now with that said, I think it's just you can easily hedge if you don't want to get any exposure to these guys. Throw a couple captain lineups in. So if
Yeah.
Chris Godwin does blow it up, you're fine.
Yeah. So KC is relatively healthy. Harrison Butker obviously is still out. I think they released the other kicker and got a new one. It doesn't really matter to me. Kicker's a kicker. I don't care who you are unless you're Justin Tucker. But Blake Bell is going to be out for this. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, questionable. Looks like he's expected to play. So with MVS coming back, you're talking about the guy with the most snaps when it comes to wide receivers. He's got 76% of the snaps compared to Juju at 69%. Is this a big deal? I mean, MVS is a big play guy. He's the kind of guy that I want to throw in a couple lineups at captain, right?
I don't know, man. Like I'm still like I still have that thing in the back of my head about MBS and dropping passes with Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So it concerns me a little bit. I think if he's out, it does boost some of the other guys. But I don't know, man. I'm not too concerned about his injury status. I think he's there for big plays. Hey, bro, can you hold on for 1 second?
Yeah, I'm gonna get into this breakdown. Let's do it.
Break it down.
All right. So we've got Tom Brady at 11.4K. Oh, I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes 11.4K and Tom Brady at 10K. It's a pretty big difference in price here, but these guys are both really expensive. How in the world can we not only justify but afford to be able to play both quarterbacks in a slate like this? Can we do it? Do you think the field's going to do it? What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing yet here, man. I think we'll learn a lot when we get to the build, but just looking at this, I think we're gonna have to fade one of these guys. And for whatever reason, it looks like Tom Brady is the guy that the public or the field is currently looking at fading in comparison to Pat Mahomes. Now I don't mean like full fade. The public's not gonna play them. Like he's probably gonna be 40-50% owned still.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes seems to be favored there. I think Tom Brady's the guy you got to go to. If all these wide receivers play, I think there's going to be such a spread out offense that anybody could end up with a touchdown. But again, if one of those guys don't play, one of those wide receivers, again, it's still just opening up the offense for Tom Brady. So I think I'm going to prioritize Tom as much as I can, and then just run 4-2 stacks, man. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Quarterback, a couple patch catchers, maybe a running back, and go from there.
Yeah, and also I think you have to make a decision too. If you're not playing Tom Brady, you might want to throw Leonard Fournette in, But being able
Right.
to afford both quarterbacks with a good captain. Now, if you just punt a captain, you can fit everybody else. You can fit a lot of guys in the flex, and that's probably what you should do. But playing any of these dudes in the top 5 ownership of captain, it's impossible to have more than like 3 studs in the flex. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
So you're probably not going to want to put both quarterbacks in at that combined salary of 21,400. Can that pay off? I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. When we get to building, we'll play with it a little bit more. So running backs, let's start with Tampa Bay here. Leonard Fournette, he's expensive. He's $400 more than Tom Brady. And you're talking about a guy who has not scored a touchdown this year. And yes, you're talking about a guy who's on the field quite a bit. I think he's 70+% snap rate. He's getting involved in the pass game, so I don't hate putting Brady and Fournette together. But in my opinion, 10.4K, I'd rather just pay down and get Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, me too, man. Again, I think there were some weather implications coming into this game, and people were concerned about what was going to happen. That usually just means, Fournette's going to get a boost if there was shitty weather. That's not the case. I expect Tom Brady to come out and have a good night. So I really want to get him and stack him up with some pass catchers, man.
And look, Leonard Fournette is projected. This is all projections here, but he's projected to be the highest owned player on the slate. And I don't see that happening.
Right.
I think Tom Brady or Mahomes ends up taking that, but like if he's the highest owned player on the slate, I might think about being under the field on him because I just think the opportunities of him being the optimal captain or in the optimal lineup, it's way less than what his ownership would be. That's just my opinion on it. So look, let's talk about a guy like Rachaad White. He's $600. He's probably one of my favorite sort of punt value plays. He's $600, man. But look, you're talking about a guy who's really only getting like 11, 12% of the snaps. He's not really getting involved with the run game. But there is this report out now. I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I still like Rachaad White, but there's a report that came out that said Byron Leftwich wants to get Rachaad White more involved. So, what are your thoughts on this? Are you buying it? And if you are buying it, what are you doing with a $600 Rachaad White, man? That's really tempting.
I mean, my answer here is pretty simple. I'll be playing the hell out of him. I look, Leonard Fournette doesn't. I don't know, man. I don't think Leonard. I'm not bought in. I know he had a great year last year. I know he's doing pretty well this year. They love him, but he's still old, right? This is the second leg of his career. He already had his 2.5 year career back in Jacksonville or whatever. Running backs don't last this long. I think they want to get Rachaad White involved. And here's the thing, dude. If one of these teams, like I know this isn't Bruce Arians' team anymore, but if his offense is coming into a game carrying 2 running backs, you know that second guy is getting work,
Yeah.
right? They wouldn't come in with just 2 backs and not play him. So I definitely think Rachaad White's in play. I'll have a decent amount of him, $600.
Now there could be a situation that Keyshawn Vaughn is active, and if he is active, I might get a couple shares of him at $200. But my point here is having Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White in the same lineup. I don't hate that at all. I think it kind of evens out the salary. You're talking about 11,000 between all the rushing and all the backfield targets for the most part. I'm interested in builds like that because there's just not going to be a lot of people doing it. Anything else to add here?
Nope.
All right, so KC 7,800 for CEH, Jerick McKinnon 4,600, Pacheco 2,200, and a punt like Michael Burton 200. Ellie, go ahead and break this down for me here on KC side.
Yeah, this is another pretty easy one for me too. I'm not going to have much of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If you take away, I mean, if you just look at his stats, his box score last week, he had 7 carries for no yards, right? That's not what you want from your back. He ended up with a touchdown. He had 2, right? Oh no, he did have 1 rushing touchdown on 0 yards, man. Like that's crazy, and then a receiving touchdown. That saved his day. And I know we always say if they end up with 1, that matters. But I just don't see this continuing. He's got to regress at some point, considering how poorly he's played.
Yeah.
But I love Jerick McKinnon, dude. He's on the field all the time. Does he even have a touchdown this year? Maybe 1.
He has
Yeah, he
one
has 1
receiving
touchdown.
touchdown against the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to have a touchdown regression, or he's going to regress to his expected output for touchdowns as well. I like him a lot. I think you can get a little bit of captain with Jerick McKinnon too, because he gives you a lot of salary flexibility.
Yeah.
And if he has rushing touchdown, that's it.
And a guy like
Pacheco's too expensive for me, man.
2,200. Yeah. I mean, look, Jerick McKinnon's on the field more than CEH. Now he's not getting as many carries, but he's getting more red zone opportunities, and Isaiah Pacheco is getting more red zone opportunities than CEH in most cases. So for me, a guy like 7,800 on a slate like this, where everybody's so expensive, I might not have much at all of any CEH, and what I might do is put him at captain in a handful of lineups just in case if he has one of these random 2 touchdown games. But a guy like Jerick McKinnon at 4,600, man, I really like him. I mean. As I like him as much as you can possibly like a backup running back, technically, in quotes, backup running back for the Chiefs. There's just not a lot of volume going to any of these guys, if you really think about it. So even though McKinnon at 4,600 is the better play, in my opinion, he's still not, that doesn't mean he's a good play. It doesn't mean he's going to pay off that just because he might not have enough opportunities. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Jerick McKinnon. All right, so wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, 7K, MVS 5,600. Now, MVS is questionable, like we said in the opening, but he is expected to play here. Mecole Hardman 5,200, Justin Watson 800, and you got a guy like Sky Moore at 200. So, Ellie, go ahead and break this down for me. Talk to me here.
Hey, look, man, it's simple. Patrick Mahomes is throwing these guys the football. If you can build them with your into your lineup, you put them in there. I don't think you need more than 2 guys. I think you're probably fine with 1 of these pass catchers, and then targeting Kelsey a little bit more often. But you got to get some exposure to these guys. Juju, he's a high end guy. You might want to throw him at captain lineups. I think 7K might be a little bit too pricey to get him in at flex, but. If he's going to continue to see 8 targets, I know he didn't have it against LA, but that's fine. If he continues to see that, he's going to convert these into touchdowns at some point. So I think they're all fine plays, man. I think the real question here that we need to pay attention to is Justin Watson or Sky Moore, though, right? Like, because we saw Watson, he had like a 50-yard touchdown the other night.
Yeah.
And he was on the field. He was on the field quite a bit, right? He's been getting targets. He's been getting involved in the offense a little bit. And I think that he's kind of sliding into that role that Sky Moore was supposed to fill. Now they're different. They're obviously different players, and Sky Moore is faster, whatever. But, if Watson's going to be on the field and he's going to make those touchdown catches, you're going to need him at $600 or $800.
Yeah, and Sky Moore at $200 had that fumble last week, which maybe hurt him overall in that game. Maybe they gave him a couple extra plays off on the offensive side, but even then, he's just not getting any really much of any snaps on the offensive side. So $200 is worth maybe a lineup or two, but I'm just gonna probably stay away from him. I'd rather play Justin Watson, pay up $600. To me, it's just only a couple hundred more bucks, and he's still cheap. But Justin Watson is. All right, so let's talk about Tampa Bay here, man. This is interesting. These guys are finally mostly healthy here. You got Brashad Perriman, who most likely won't play. They're all kind of in the same price range here, like Russell Gage, Perriman, Julio Jones. So look, Mike Evans is 9,400, Russell Gage 6,200, Chris Godwin coming back from injury 8,400, Julio Jones 6,600. So what do we do here, man? Like, especially if we're going to be getting more Brady, are you focused on getting one of these guys in the captain spot and throwing another in the flex? Since 90% of his output is going to go to these guys, wide receivers. He's not really targeting tight ends much this year. So what do we do here?
Yeah, man. I think the easy answer is just stick with as much Mike Evans as you can possibly get. I think the idea for this wide receiver group has always been to rotate and limit how much Julio, Chris Godwin, even Mike Evans at times have to play. But Mike Evans been kind of the consistent one so far this season, who hasn't been dealing with as much injury. So I think he's the more reliable guy. These other three, look, if you like them, play them. I think the best bet is probably getting Chris Godwin at some captain lineups. Just because if he does go off, he goes off, and at 8,400, he'll be the optimal captain if he has one of his normal high fantasy output games. Right, he puts up 30, 40 points, he'll need to be your captain. Julio and Russell Gage, though, I don't know if I'm really going to be playing all that much of them. I think Russell being out there really depends on the health of Godwin and Jones. So if both those guys are active, I'm really not that interested. And he's priced up like he had 25 points last week. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's
That's with nobody.
that's too much.
That's with nobody on the field. So
Right.
you're right. He is priced a little bit out of it. I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and maybe a little bit of Julio Jones, because look, Julio Jones looked pretty good earlier in the year.
Yeah.
That game one. I'm interested in them in the flex, obviously, but I'm gonna have a lot of Mike Williams at the captain. And I'm gonna have some Chris Godwin because I think people are gonna be scared to play him. And this is a situation where they're not going to rush him back too early after that hamstring injury. I think he's ready to go. I think he's going to be the Chris Godwin of old. He's been waiting to get out there and play a full game for a long time. I think he's a sneaky captain option because he could be the seventh highest owned captain, which is, I get it because there's a little bit of fear there. I understand. All right, so tight ends, Cameron Brate, 3,600. Whoever the hell this guy is, Kokeeft and Kyle Rudolph. So look, Ellie, you had showed me a lineup with Kyle Rudolph, and I think the very first week, we were excited about having a guy like Kyle Rudolph just catch one pass in the back of the end zone and he cost like $200. Now he's like $1,200. Now people kind of know about him, but he hasn't really been active much. In fact, I don't even know. Besides last week, I don't think he hasn't been active the entire year besides last week, which is sort of strange to me. So what do we do with these tight ends, man? One of these mofos are going to come out and score a touchdown in this game. You just know it because nobody wants to play him. So what do we do here?
I mean, I think you just get a little exposure as you're rotating different pieces, and I don't think you need to have a whole bunch of these guys, but just get a piece or two in a lineup if you're doing multiple lineups. If you're only playing one or two lineups, I probably wouldn't even put them in my player pool. But there's cheaper guys I'd rather play, and I'll punt elsewhere.
So Travis Kelsey, 10.8K, expensive, but worth it. We know his upside. He hasn't really had a bad game this year. I mean, yeah, 10 points in that game against the Chargers probably wouldn't pay off salary in a game like this. But look, 29 points week one, 17 points last week. He's a touchdown machine. We know that. You just got to try to fit him in as much as possible. And look, I'm assuming I didn't even have to ask you today. I know that you wanted to put him at captain.
Yeah, I play Travis Kelsey. That's
So
it. That's the show.
So what about exactly. So what about Noah Gray and Fortson here? When it comes to other players in that cheap salary, are you interested in them at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Noah Gray is a little expensive at 1,600, but I think he had a touchdown, or he got pretty close last week, right? Uh,
He probably
yeah,
had a couple red zone targets. I mean, all these guys usually end up at least threatening a good time
yeah,
for us, but they don't really pay off much. Fortson was
yeah.
the guy who did have a touchdown week
Okay,
one. So we know
week
we know
one.
he can get involved. And look, in preseason game 2, he had 2 touchdowns. That doesn't really mean much. I don't even think Patty Mahomes was in it at that point. But look, the point is, the reason why we're talking about these guys is because every single showdown slate, one of these random ass dudes, especially tight ends, score, break the slate, they end up in the optimal. So if you're doing a couple hundred lineups like I am or like Ellie is, 100 lineups or plus, or even 20 lineups, get one lineup with Jody Fortson, something like that, to cover your bases, because I guarantee you one of these random tight ends is going to score tonight. It just happens too often. All right, we're good. We're good here, right? Let's go to kickers and defense, our favorite part of the show. Ryan Suckoff, 4K. Matthew Wright at 4,200 for some reason, even though he was just signed off the street. What do we do here in a total like this, which isn't too high? Are you worried about these teams stalling out in the red zone and one of these kickers being in the optimal?
Yeah, I mean it's possible. This is expected to be a competitive game, so they're gonna take points most likely when they're in position to do so. So I think that increases the viability of kickers. Don't play both, and don't play them at captain probably.
Yeah. Even though last week or whatever there was a optimal captain, the week before there was a defense in the
Yeah,
captain spot. I mean, it happens. So
and
hey, one
and last
lineup.
year Suckoff did have a captain winner.
Yeah, of course.
Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
So it does happen. But the likelihood of it happening that when you do it is probably not going to happen. Buccaneers defense 3,200, Chiefs 4,400. Are you interested in defense this year? I think both of these defenses have the opportunity to take the ball away. But look, you're going to need a pick six. You're going to need a fumble recovery. You're going to need like 5 sacks, something like that, in order to uh, pay off these salaries. They're not that expensive, but I'd rather go with a kicker instead of Chiefs defense, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Chiefs defense, just keep in mind the special team side of things. Sky Moore, these really fast guys. If they take one to the house, that could help pay it off. 4,400 seems a bit expensive. I think they're priced based on the wide receivers being out, but I don't mind some of the Bucks defense. To be honest with you, they could shut down the run game, and one pick six pays off their 200.
All right, let's get into our captain choice
Now,
here.
if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Ellie, you're going Travis Kelsey. I'm going Mike Evans. There's not really much to talk about here. The biggest thing to talk about is these guys have huge upsides. They're the favorite receiver for their given quarterback, and they're like going to be like fourth, fifth highest owned captains. Because both quarterbacks, because of Fournette. I think you just got to go over the field with both of these guys. This is going to be my core, both at captain and in the flex. I'm going to try to have as much of them as possible. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, man, I don't have anything to add.
All right, so our fade,
We couldn't do diddly poo.
and I don't think CEH is going to do diddly poo. It's risky because this is the kind of guy, like on paper, he's just not a good play at that salary, but he's also the kind of guy that can get you 2 receiving touchdowns and completely screw everything up for you. I'm willing to risk it tonight with CEH. I just am. The numbers are pointing towards McKinnon, and I think if you want to really hedge a little bit, just put him at captain in a few lineups. All right, so let's get to our lineup build here. So throw us a like, guys. We appreciate it. Let's get us to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and follow us on TikTok. We're gonna be next week. We're gonna be getting back into our short form content for Sunday nights, but we're doing a full show tonight because we missed Thursday. Anyways, let's get into this. This is the optimal lineup when you click optimize on RG here. So talk to me, Goose. Brady at captain. We got a Rashad White sighting here. That's a good sign based on what we were talking about earlier. I don't hate this lineup here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't think I'd play it though. Not big on quarterback at captain. Tom Brady could have a rushing touchdown though. You know how he is. On those fourth and shorts or those goal line carries, he will snag one.
Yeah, he sure
But
will.
that's not me.
All right, so let's go with Kelsey. He's the second highest price dude on this slate. Let's hit optimize and see what they want to give us. So look, Justin Watson and Rashad White, and they're wanting to throw in here. I think that's a little much for my taste, but these are the kind of lineups you might have to build if you're going to put two quarterbacks in, and especially if you're going to put an expensive captain in. So Fournette with Brady and Rashad White, run back with Mahomes and Watson, Kelsey. I don't know. What do you think about this? You want to just build our own?
Yeah, let's build our own.
All right. So where do we do here?
Let's start with Tom Brady, and let's throw in Pat. Let's see how difficult it is to do this.
All right. So
And then
what do you think? Where are we going next? You probably want to fade a guy like Leonard Fournette here. You're going to want to get one of Tom Brady's main guys in, right?
yeah,
I mean,
it's
going to be rough.
Throw in Mike.
All right, let's get Mike Evans. We might not have to punt as much because Mike's cheaper than Lenny. That other lineup we saw. So let's immediately put in a cheap guy. Do you want to go Rashad White? Do you want to go somebody else?
Yeah, let's go Rashad White.
All right, so that leaves us $2,400. Try to fit a guy in here. That gets us Pacheco, Noah Gray, Kyle Rudolph, Justin Watson. That's probably the way to go, which is exactly what we saw before. So if you're dealing with both quarterbacks in the flex, expensive captain, you're gonna have to punt twice. Unless you go mid-range, let's take Evans out. And let's go maybe Julio Jones, or do you want to go? I mean, Chris Godwin saves you 1,000, but it doesn't really get you much. So
Let's go Julio.
Julio? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I put Rashad White in, any of these, super cheap value plays can represent him. But because Rashad White is the number 2 running back and he's going to get some opportunity, I feel most comfortable with him. 5,200. So that's going to get us some mid-range guys like Mecole Hardman, Cole Beasley, which we didn't really talk about. I don't even know if Cole Beasley will be active, but who knows? But I think what you do is you go with Jerick McKinnon here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so what is this? This is a 3-3?
Yeah.
So I really want to set my my optimizer, or if I'm hand building, I just want to make sure. I think I want to make sure I want to get 4 2s or 2 4s because that instantly makes you different, and you're probably gonna be going down to a player that most people wouldn't be getting because they're gonna choose a guy like McKinnon. You know what I mean? As opposed to going down, instead of McKinnon, you could get Suckoff, or you can go way down and get a guy like Cameron Brate, and optimizers aren't going to give you that typically.
You want to try something real quick?
Yeah.
Let's pull out Mahomes.
Okay.
We'll leave Jerick McKinnon there, and then pull out Julio and Rashad White. Let's see what else we can do here. Let's throw in Mike Evans.
Okay.
And then, oh damn, that really didn't give us that much money. Throw in Chris Godwin.
I was just thinking that. So Kelsey, Brady, Evans, Godwin, McKinnon. Last spot's 1,400. I think you just rotate in the last few guys. I mean, I don't even know if Kyle Rudolph will be active.
White back in.
Yeah, I don't even know if Kyle Rudolph will be active, but you do have, Justin Watson, and then you do have Rashad White. I think we're going to be getting a lot of these lower price guys, and we're just going to have to rotate them so we're not all our eggs in one basket situation. But I love this here. Just this as a core here, having Kelsey at captain. You could do a 2-4 here as well, which I think did we just do that? Did we just do a 2-4?
Yeah.
I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, it's 2-4.
Yeah, that's real nice. All right, so let's go down to Mike Evans and see if we can get a little bit more balanced builds, and probably only have to punt once. So Mike Evans. So let's try to get both quarterbacks again and see what happens. Actually, you know what? Here, let's hit optimize and see what happens. So Rashad White, Buccaneers defense, both quarterbacks, and Lenny Fournette. Let's rip that out of here and let's start fresh. Let's put both quarterbacks in. Start there. What do we do now? Do you want to get we got to get somebody to throw the ball to for Mahomes. Can we fit in Kelsey? And we'll probably be screwed, right?
I mean, I think we're back to punting, but I mean, throw in Rashad White, and what does that leave us? 3K.
Yeah, that leaves us. Let's
Yeah.
see, where's Rashad White? That leaves us with 3,100. That gets us right back in the same Pachenko, Noah Gray, Justin Watson, all those guys. So let's pull Kelsey out. Let's go with a guy like Juju.
Yeah, I was gonna say Juju, man. He's gonna
Yeah.
he
He's
could
gonna
end up with 8-9 catches. You know,
Dude, I think we build with a Juju captain next. I think Juju's going to have a breakout game. I just don't know when it's going to be. We're going to get it in the next few weeks. I think it's going to happen. So we have a little bit more balanced here. Do you want, like, where do we go? Do we want to get McKinnon or something? Like, what do we do here?
Yeah, let's throw in McKinnon. That puts us probably closer to what, like 3,200 again,
29.
or 20.
Guess who?
That's
It's Rashad White, Justin Watson. Man, I mean, in this situation, you probably want to go with Justin Watson or Noah Gray. Get that 2-4 going. I just don't, I just don't like it. I want to start without. I want to let's leave one of the quarterbacks out here. So typically speaking, we're gonna, Mike Evans in the captain. We're gonna want to throw Tom Brady in, but I think we put Patrick Mahomes in this lineup and we run it back with like a 2-stack of pass catchers for Mahomes here.
so yeah, let's do it. Do Pat, and then what? You want to throw in Lenny?
Kels. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's do it. I mean, can we afford Kelsey and Lenny?
We can. I mean, we're looking to
gonna
get
get
two
nasty.
cheap pass catchers anyway.
It's gonna get nasty. Here, let's not do Kelsey. Let's grab Juju. Let's grab Lenny, and that leaves us with a little bit more reasonable of a lineup here. So if you wanted to completely punt and go down to Rashad White or any of these cheap guys, that leaves you with 6,500. That gets you. What does that get you? That gets you Russell Gage, MVS, Mecole Hardman. So this is a 3-3. Man, this is not easy today. This is not easy. Do we want to pull Rashad White out and put?
Yeah, throw in Justin Watson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The 2-4 here, or the 4-2. Wait, what are we? Yeah, 2-4. So 6,300. So you put in a guy like Russell Gage or MVS. I'm gonna put in MVS.
Yeah, I
save that. So you got Evans and Fournette. So Evans catches 2 touchdowns in this situation. Fournette gets you 100 yards on the ground, a couple receiving yards, and Patrick Mahomes goes off and throws like 2 or 3 touchdown passes here. I think that's the game script for this lineup. You want to go Juju at captain real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Juju at captain. Let's see what this buys us. Where do you want to go with our quarterback conundrum?
Let's put in both. Let's fade Kelsey and then go Mike Evans instead.
Okay, Mike Evans, 8,700 a pop. So we can get mid-range guys. We can go one low, one high. Where do you want to go?
Can we? Let's throw in Julio. We haven't used much Julio.
All right, Julio. That leaves us 2,100. The usual
rotate.
Suspects. These guys like Noah Gray, Kyle Rudolph, Justin Watson, Rashad White, Jody Fortson, all those guys. I kind of want to get all those guys involved.
You want to try one real quick with Jerick McKinnon captain?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's end the show with a cheap guy and see if it's worth doing. So McKinnon at captain. Let's go both quarterbacks in this situation, right?
Yeah, and let's see if we can get Kels and Evans.
I think we can. I think we can, dude. 1,500.
Oh, Rashad White. And then just rotate the pieces again.
Rotate those pieces out. Yeah, rotate those pieces out. If you got $10 to play tonight, do two 10-cent or do 2 25-cent 20 maxes instead of doing one lineup. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. Do you want to build with anybody else here? Let's build with one more guy here. We got an extra minute or two. Who's jumping out to you as a high upside type guy?
I can't believe we haven't done this. Let's build with Godwin at captain.
Yeah, that's stupid that we haven't done that. Godwin at
Jesus.
captain. Do you want to go Brady or Mahomes? Do you want to do the same thing we did with
Let's
I don't know.
go
What do you
Brady
wanna do?
Mahomes. Brady Mahomes, Kelsey. I think we're all going to be in the same kind of builds here, but
What, Rashad
and-
White?
yeah, throw in Rashad White, and then I think Jerick
4,600.
McKinnon, right?
Jerick McKinnon. Hey, that's not bad, dude. I'm saving that one. That could be your Millie Maker winner right there. If this wins the Millie Maker, you guys gotta subscribe. So, all right, some final thoughts here, Ellie. Like, where do you think this game goes? Do you think Brady steps up and has a good game now that he's got all his guys back? Where do you think it goes from a football standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see the over here. I think this is going to be closer to a shootout than it is a defensive battle.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see the wheels fall off of Seth. I think he's going to have a meh performance. Sorry, guys, but don't sleep on the Bucs defense, right? Bulls is known for run defense, so Seth's going to get hurt. I think not injured.
I think CEH fumbles in the first half, and we see a lot more McKinnon. I hope. It's just wishful thinking at this point, but I'm gonna take Buccaneers 31-27 in this game. What's your score prediction?
I'll go 28-24 Tampa.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments. What's your like low price guy that you think can score today?
I'm not going to steal yours, so I'll go with I don't know, man. I think Jody Fortson could end up with a touchdown, to be honest with you.
Well, for our sake, let's hope that Rashad White can score a touchdown in this game. If not, we are screwed. All right, we'll see you guys for Monday Night Football.